The entrepreneur community has already woken up. We've already woken up. We've woken up to the fact that it is possible, not only possible, but it's inevitable that overnight success times can be cut dramatically. We've woken up to the fact that it's not only possible, but inevitable that low-cost technology can be leveraged to build very, very significantly profitable, high net margin businesses without taking money from investors or pushing off revenue or profit for years. Years. And we've woken up to the fact that the power of inner purpose connected into groups of others with shared desire that care about the thing that the business is for will overcome all blocks, barriers, and restrictions caused by people in the society that are running old founder mode playbooks that focus on short-term results or throwing money at the business and disconnecting it from its original vision and purpose. Already there. The key is, how do I, as an individual, relate into this new world as it has already emerged? Because it's always been here. It's been here throughout time. Everything that is true has always existed. What's confusing is the social beliefs that are temporary in time. And we have many of them. The entrepreneur myths that we hold dear. Overnight success takes 30 years. Just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. Just put your head down and just keep going. Myth 2. Myth 3. This one's funny. So I'm reading Ayn Rand, and I love the book, and it inspired me with the Liberation Mechanics chapters I've been writing. And I don't know where I'm at, page 120 or something. I'm like, this is 1,000 pages. I'm never going to be able to read this. I don't have time. And then I started laughing at the scene where Henry Riordan from Riordan Metals forgets his wife's, now you want to call spouse, partner, whatever generation you're from, it's fine. We'll use the word. He forgot her party. He's known for 3 months and he's feeling sorry for himself. Now, I don't know what comes later in the book, but I'm thinking, myth, myth, myth. I know this from my own marriage. When I make my stuff more important than my family and my daughter and my wife and being connected, my business is worse off, worse. I get a worse result. There's a secret prosperity code around connection, particularly with your primary partner. And Henry Riordan blew off his wife because he's more important. I thought, this is like every Taylor Sheridan show that I've seen. Every single one of Taylor Sheridan's series it touches on this subject in our society. And Lioness, Landman, and now Tulsa King. I'm like, wow, Taylor, man, you figured this shit out, didn't you? How to manage your energy throughout the day becomes the work to sustain the period of time and the gap between realization and knowing. And then even getting into the knowing phase, which for me has been 3 years, watching the realization happening, but not being able to prove it. You don't need to prove it because you know. You don't have to prove it. The challenge is Do I ruin my life for the vision? Do I ruin my real life for the vision, realization? Do I have to compromise on my family life, my real life? I've always had a real life. And being in the gap of transition in uncertainty and chaos is now understood. And clearly in the modern society, we don't have to go back to the I Ching and the real traditions, the deeper traditions anymore, because they're being rethought and reworked for the age of, no, I'm not a monk, and I'm not going to live in a tree in Ibiza. That's a Richard Rudd joke. However, how do I manage my energy throughout the day? Back in when I was working in the media business for a creative services company, this was like middle 90s. I would go in the bathroom throughout the day because I'm making cold calls all day long into corporate. And I ended up succeeding, but it was brutal. And I didn't know what I was doing. So I went into the uncertainty and I ended up succeeding. And I sold a big Eli Lilly product launch event. And it was $1 billion blockbuster drug. Those are big projects for a company that didn't have pharmaceutical experience. It's impossible to do if you think about it. I didn't. I just decided I have to succeed because I don't want to go back to the family business. And I succeeded, but I almost killed myself. And then I tried to after 18 months. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I got to get a different kind of job. And I did. And it worked out. And I'm in the bathroom at work doing Tai Chi because I learned inner energy practices, Yang family secret family transmissions. And I've been in a group for this. I've been doing it for 30 years now. And so I'm doing it I do everything every day. And how to manage your energy throughout the day, it wasn't working because what I was doing was I was pumping up my energy to keep myself going. And I was married at the time, first marriage, and the marriage is collapsing. I'm paying no attention to any of this. And I'm just keeping my energy going. That doesn't work for me anymore. And as a system, doesn't work. It's about balance. So this is called the middle way in some traditions. So I'm not making this stuff up. So how to manage your energy throughout the day. The revitalization imperative is key for entrepreneurs because when that vision starts expanding, if I allow that to drive me, I'm letting my mind control me. And I'm married to someone who doesn't allow this. You're not going to make your shit more important than me and your family. God damn it. Why can't I just be like Henry Riordan from Riordan Metals? I'm the smart. I'm the one. I'm the one. It's about me. Why can't I do that? Because I don't want to. But on the other hand, I don't want to compromise. As these ideas come, I want to take action on them immediately. So the day gets overwhelming, stress builds, and demand overtakes best laid plans. And I got through it. Now, many teach this is inevitable, that way of life is inevitable. It is not. And the idea that success requires hard and fast organizational methods is not true. Pick your flavor, get yourself on track, and learn to focus. And that's what happened because I've been working on it for so long. And the key was a group. Couldn't have done this by myself. It's impossible. I don't think it is possible to do it by yourself. I think the system of humanity is designed to not be able to do it by yourself. And that method of the aesthetic, do-it-myself method has a purpose. You can do a walkabout and go out in the woods and take your ayahuasca and wander around for a few days, or go live in a tree for a year, or a couple of years, or Joseph Campbell. I think he spent 5 years reading myths and playing in a little room. And I think Carl Jung did it too in his sandboxes. He got a lot farther than Freud. Carl Jung got a lot farther than Freud. That's why they had to split up, because Freud couldn't catch up. But at some point, you got to get back in the society, because that's the point. Unless for some destiny reason, that is your destiny. And then you'll know. The pathways to revitalization as a practice become your life, not a thing you do. In other words, it's just a raft for a while, and then it becomes the shore, where that is my life. I am automatically revitalizing my energy through breathing all the time. And every time I feel something, I allow my feeling state into my consciousness and ask myself a simple question like, why? Pay attention. It is about energy. Finding your own is the key. What is my energy? And then knowing how to manage it, as much as knowing how to organize my calendar. That's important too. Those are important skills, but that's not the point. Productivity systems and being extremely well organized is important. The energy basis for that is truth inside me, being honest about what has come into my field of vision. It's in the body, the emotional system, and the mind. And if I decide, well, screw her, I'm going to do it my way, I get to be divorced again. And I'm not looking for that. No, I don't want that. Now, what is exciting, I'm finding, and you will as well, if you do this work, is all the prosperity codes exist inside our DNA. I don't have to figure it out. That's the error of thought. And talk about beliefs again. What was my belief? My belief was I'm in charge of my life and I have to figure it out. And the answer is that's not true. It's not an opinion. It's just not. It's just plain wrong. It's not true. It's a societal belief of the United States. I'm a United States of American. We're good at that. Make it happen. Well, you got to take action. Always. We skipped the heart though, which is use the pain to get deeper knowledge about the vision. And the relationship, particularly the primary one, carries secret alchemical codes as the heart unlocks. That works in terms of the entrepreneur vision part. Who knew? Nobody told me. I wish they had. It would have been easier. I don't think easier is part of it, at least for me. Entrepreneurs pioneer things, and pioneering new ways of being an entrepreneur, which I'm calling flexible founder mode, because it's what it is part of what I did. I would have preferred a few years ago to have not had to go this deep. It was not what I was looking to do. And every time I took a shortcut, somehow it didn't work out. And that is the point. What is your destiny will unveil itself, and how you manage your daily practice. And that's what this week's about, week 7 on the Red Pill Pathway, which is the company that I run that sponsors the Entrepreneur Experience campus and community. So I'm 136th of the, so if you don't like me, talk to somebody else. Mike and Brian did a hell of a show yesterday on the Hounds of Business. Damn, that was incredible. And I'm looking at Mike and I'm like, I couldn't do that. I'm like, I'd rather listen to Mike than me. He's hilarious. The whole hat, the whole thing. And it's him. It's not an act. It's not an attractive character. That's really Mike. Same with Brian. Way to go, guys. So, the principles behind daily rejuvenation, how to make this not a practice, but your normal state, and how to eventually no longer need any productivity, organizational, or business systems is the work. To need none of it, because you know what to do all the time. And when I talk to Louisa, when I talk to my wife, spouse, partner, sorry, when I talked to this guy, Sonny, who did some energy work with me, I had a big knot, an energy knot right here. I took it out of my hip and it ended up like, I'm like, what is going on? And I went to see him a few days ago. It's gone. My wrist aligned. It's fine. I could do the Marshall stuff again. It's unbelievable. And he's like, oh, yeah. Oh, I said, what's going on? He said, metal. Oh, so it's this meridian line. He said, yeah, it's this meridian line. What's that all about? Large intestine. What else is it connected to? Lungs. What is it about? Elimination. Sorry, it's a little gross. Breath. Elimination and open breath. That's your issue. Oh, he did an hour. It's gone. I'm fine. I breathed. I let it work. I didn't do anything. He's an expert. That's why I don't go to people who don't know what they're doing anymore. I've done that for way too long. And that's part of our experiment is how do we create local economies where the people who actually know what they're doing get the business instead of whoever ranks highest on Google or is best at playing the Amazon marketplace. Don't want to do that. Amazon's stealing your data and your products. Google is, it's a pro game now. That's all I'm saying. And what shows up is not always the best product. So I'm getting distracted, but that's why I'm doing this. Is how do you change the world? You do it one person at a time. Start local, think global, connect local and global. That's what we're doing, connecting local and global. So the principles behind daily rejuvenation, so you can do your version of this. Whatever your version is right. You are the only one who knows the answer to that. No one else knows. I was in a community on school yesterday because I'm like, why would anyone do this school thing? And it was great. These kids are like, they're teenagers. And I'm like, see the pain. I'm like, I get it, man. Believe me, I get it. And they're trying to figure it out, but they're looking for an answer from somebody else. And the answer this guy who runs this community should tell them is, I don't know for you. You can find it out though. And I can help you understand principles based on my expertise. That's not what's going on. It's still a funnel into some marketing system. That's why I don't like those systems. Plus, it's not helping these people. They think it is because they want somebody to give them an answer. There's no answer. You know the answer. You have the resources inside to act on the answer too. What you need to do is figure out what works for you, and being with other people who know what they're doing and aren't trying to get something from you will be helpful for that. That's the principles behind daily rejuvenation. It's the way we're executing on that is everyone being involved in it. So on the tier 1 campus that we're finishing, there's going to be 3 tiers, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 with different permission levels, because we've got to keep people out of the deeper private rooms, not because of money, but because it's secret personal stuff. And you got to build a safe container so people trust. You can't just throw people in there and say that it's not going to work. So tier 1, we started thinking of it yesterday as the 4 dummies group, because I want to be the dummy. And Chandra, I think, was the one who had the idea. Yeah. For Dummies books are great. I love the For Dummies series. I use the For Dummies series all the time, years ago, all the time, because someone took the time as an expert to figure it out and make it simple so I don't have to figure it out. I didn't want complicated. I wanted, tell me how it works. I know it's hard. I got to work through it. I get that. I don't have a problem with that. But you need to do the heavy lifting ahead of me. And the For Dummies books did that. I love the For Dummies book. So I'm like, let me be a dummy in the room. So the 12 rooms on that, the session rooms, we're calling them, and the tier 1 permission area is that 7-day guest pass and the 90-day quick start. You get in and get out for dummies. And that's 6 rooms on personal acceleration and 6 rooms on business traction. And for me personally, it took all 12 of those capabilities to go faster with less problems, less stress, and not screw up my family. And the deeper rooms, Family Matters First, the workshops, the program rooms, and the groups in particular, that's a 12-month commitment because we can't have people in there that are just screwing around and coming to sell because the target market avatars in the room. That's how I always did it. And that's a problem because then people won't feel safe. And they shouldn't because somebody's got a hidden agenda. So you come to sell. What are you selling? Now we're good. So the principles behind daily rejuvenation really come from figuring out what rejuvenates you. And we've got that all nailed down, even in the quick start, even in the 7-day guest pass. And the core of it to me is Brian Muka, who's our co-founder now over the last year. And Brian's Invincibility Dojo is not just about breath and learning how to breathe. It's learning how to set your day so there is no overwhelm. It is possible to live without overwhelm, without stress, and without friction. It is possible. The society has myths that will tell you that is not possible, particularly the entrepreneur myths. It's not true. And it's possible on a daily basis to go in the right direction all the time without, it's a winding road, but it won't feel that way to you. And other people will look and say, what are you doing? Go over here. And your answer is no. And building that culture in our community and campus where you don't have to deal with it because no one's going to do that. And if they do, there's a remediation approach where nobody's shamed in that. It's just basically like, you don't know. Why are you telling them that? Or her? You don't know. Oh, I forgot. Right. Oh, it's a projection. It's their projection. They're projecting onto this person who's like, I don't know why I need to go do this stupid thing, but I know it's right. And someone raises their hand and says, no, you don't want to do that. I had a bad experience. And it's like, time out, take your projection back. And now you can talk about why you said that later. But this person's figuring out something. In the Invincibility Dojo, you can do that. No one is going to interrupt. And the same with all the rooms. They're going to let you do it. We're not going to tell you the answer because no one knows the answer for another person. It doesn't work that way. Why does our society decide that that's not true? Think about why. It's not complicated. There's a reason. These are the principles behind daily rejuvenation, which is we don't know, I don't know, and you may not know which ones and methods will work for you. That's why there's 12 different rooms in the quick start sessions. And in 7 days, you don't even have to pay and you can leave. So there's 2 models. There's 3 models. There's we make money together. There's you pay us. And it can be, it's reasonable. Or it can be, let's partner together because you got your own thing. Like Mike with the hounds or other people with their own. And they're like, no, I don't want to come. Like, okay, well, let's partner somehow. Open, extensible, scalable platforms that's what's going on. That's what's new in the world. Discord, you can just, it's open. The problem with school is it's not open, it's owned, and you're part of their product. High level, amazing, complicated though, but we had figured it out. Thanks to Joe Affelbaum for letting us into his instance. I'm not even paying for it. Thanks, Joe. We're paying for the customer support, which is like $7 a month or for Joe. Way to go. Thank you. And Joe makes plenty of money. He knows what he's doing. Support, profit. That's how it works. Evie, good, smart way of using AI, but not in a stupid way. And social media networking. And then Wheelo lets me into their pilot. I didn't pay him for 7 months. Now I'm paying a lot, but they're designing out the campus and giving us those services. Partnering, doing this for under sometimes $1,000 a month, or sometimes $1,200 a month, or whatever is possible today. You don't need to take all this money anymore from people and make this really hard and hire all these people. It's not necessary, as long as you figure out how to make it a platform so everyone can profit from it. So the daily rejuvenation piece comes from that. It's knowing which piece is mine. Mine's exploring and thinking. That's it. Truth telling through compassionate connection, leading, yes, and being able to support vision realization. Now that's a pattern people have of realizing visions that in a way hold back the society and hold back evolution. Extraction visions that aren't supportive of the creative energy and the zeitgeist of what's coming into the world next. So it's old models still running. So part of my pattern supporting type in this deep blueprint that underlies reality is to support inner vision directed entrepreneurs, the Willy Wonkas of the world. And I realized that a few years ago. And the only way to do it was to go thin in it to transmute that pain into where I am today. Otherwise, how can I help anybody else? I wouldn't know how to do it. So transmutation of the pain is the genetic code update in our own code. And do it. You can't know it. You just do it. It doesn't matter if you learn about it. If I read Richard Rudd's books and I'm talking about it, it means I don't know what I'm talking about. And I've done that a lot. So I'm not judging. I'm just noticing, like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, do you? You just read a book. So these are the principles. The principles is you know the answer, you have all the resources, and the connection into yourself is where the secrets are. And then taking the action, even if you don't want to, and knowing how to manage that energy throughout the day where you don't push yourself over the cliff. I'm not talking about not working hard. I have never taken an easy road in my life. It's always the hardest road. However, I've learned the middle way approach is right. It works better. Now you can do it however you want, but the middle way approach is better for family and the society's evolution. I think that's a lot of what Taylor Sheridan is talking about in his shows. So these become organizing structures to track, monitor, and manage information. So the productivity, organizational, and business system work is important. I talk about it, so do other people in our group. You need to learn those things, but you can learn them in like 10 minutes. How to use a calendar, and it's not hard. It's just, you got to know yourself first. That's the thing. I don't use Notion like Tom Frank on YouTube. I tried. I did his course. I paid for his stuff. I'm like, I can't think like this. But the organizing structure to track, monitor, and manage information, relationships, and priorities rather than approaches. That's what I'm talking about. To stay focused, maintain clarity, and avoid overwhelm. When I realized I get to do it my way, I can drive around and think and read books and network with people if I feel like it or not, because it feels right. And I can do that all day long, and that becomes my life. And I get paid, and I don't have to sell my house and screw up another marriage, and I get to be part of my family. And yes, Yes, the yes and thinking. We learned this from I'm from Chicago, improv comedy. Yes and, yes and. When I put no or no, not, I am creating friction and moving up my own parking brake because I'm arguing with myself in front of other people publicly. So what's the point? The revitalization imperative, how to manage your energy throughout the day, means you do not have to be overwhelmed. It's not an immutable truth that life has to be overwhelming. It is not an immutable truth that stress has to build. And it is not an immutable truth that the demands of your world are in charge of you and overtake your best laid plans.